It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.
Question is, as the mayor, what would be your ideal solution for funding of Memphis City schools?
Man, you see, you asking me questions that you know I'm going to answer truthfully, so here's the deal. City Council didn't do anything wrong by cutting the funds in the first place. City Council didn't make a mistake. They didn't make a mistake. You know why they cut the funds? You ask any one of them who were on the council when they decided to cut the $57 million or whatever it was, here's why they cut the funds. Because they kept asking the school board, please come and meet with us and please explain what these funds are used for. Check the news accounts, do the research on it. They begged us, literally, they begged the leadership of the school board. At that time, it was Tamika Hart, Martavius Jones was the vice president. They begged us, please come to the education committee meetings and let us ask you questions about these millions of dollars we spending. Because, now this is what they said, Harold Collins and others said, now it seems to us that we're wasting money because we're not getting good results from the money y'all are spending. It seems that y'all remember when the nutrition center was in the news every day? Yeah. And $6 million, poof, gone. We wouldn't even come answer questions about the money that they were giving us. Well, if you were giving somebody $1 million a year and they wouldn't come answer questions about it, what would you do with the $1 million? I'm serious. What would you do with it? Would you just keep, my dad used to say, it's like throwing bad money after good or good money after bad. I won't tell you what he actually said because it was off color. It involved a bodily function, but we won't go into that tonight. But you can't throw good money after bad. So what I would do about the funding is, once I took over, can I tell y'all this? There are 50 people at Memphis City Schools making $100,000 or more. Did you know that? Did any of you know that? Why didn't you know that? Because that's not the kind of thing that an administration wants to let get out. 50 people making $100,000 more, and they all work in one building. Another 40 people in the same building making just below 100, knocking the heck out of 100,000. So there's 90 people at $100,000, and look at our results. So what I would do is clean house, from the rooter to the tutor. Apply for some of the Obama stimulus fund money, because he's offering money to pay teachers above average salaries for above average results. How would I tie that to the City of Memphis mayor's office? By locating the schools, relocating the schools into the community, into the neighborhood, where children can walk to school like we used to. A mayor can do that once he's taken over the system, and use the Obama money to pay teachers who would have to really consider it hazardous duty in some instances. Come on now. If you're going to teach advanced middle school, any teachers in here? If you're going to teach advanced middle school, you got to have some courage because of the neighborhood. But if you pay me $150,000, I will put on fatigues and hire my personal security guard to escort me to the building. Right? Now, after a while, it won't be a hazardous duty anymore. Why? Because once I get through relocating division offices into the neighborhoods, hear me. Why are all of the city divisions located downtown at 125 North Main Street? It doesn't make sense to me. The people don't live downtown. Basically, they live in the neighborhood. The people who need the services live in the neighborhoods. So why not have the Division of Public Works in a zip code? Division of Parks in another area. Finance in another. Bring the services to the people. As you bring the division offices to the people, and you have schools in the same neighborhoods, you lift the level of the neighborhood. One neighborhood at a time. It's not new. Bust a Move Monday has been doing it for 10 years. These are principles that work anywhere. You build an entire city by building it one neighborhood at a time. That's what I would do.
Single source funding.
Single source funding has got to be. It's by law. It's constitutionally mandated that the county, which is the administrative arm of the state, is responsible for funding all public education. You know why? You know why the county isn't funding it to the degree they should in Memphis and Shelby County? It's because our leaders don't force them to. We're begging for what's ours. And I'm not the kind to beg for what's already mine. The Constitution says Shelby County is responsible for educating all of her children. That's not something that's negotiable. But y'all, now, we've had, now, Memphis is 65% black, okay? So that race is not the issue, but race has got to be an issue. It's an issue. Why? Because the majority rules, right? The majority has been represented in all legislative circles across the state, the county, and the city for 30 years. Why isn't our condition any better? Why? That's a rhetorical question. I have an answer, but it doesn't matter tonight. That answer your question? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am?
About the school budget thing, I actually work for the Urban League, so we kind of got that same person in common that sits on the board. And I remember when they were taking a while to say as far as what they were going to do with the $1 million. And when I asked, because I'm over the education department at the Urban League, I'm kind of concerned about it as well. And so with Ms. Hart being my CEO, I asked her, why does it take so long? And she said, well, you can't, with funds that big, you can't plan things like that overnight. It takes maybe 3 to 5 years. So my question is, do you agree or disagree, and why or why not?
For the $57 million?
Especially, right, with money that large, why would it take you 3 to 5 years to decide how to put the money back into this?
It doesn't take 3 to 5 years to decide. You see what we're doing right now. Well, you know what's in the news right now? Superintendent Cash's proposals about no failing, no retention policy for pre-K through 3. And he did that in a matter of days. Doesn't take a long time to make a decision about the money. Just make the decision and do it. The point is that if we had met with the city council, we could have explained our position. We could have explained that it takes such and such a number of times. We could have explained, but we didn't. You know how I know? Because I was the only school board member who attended the meetings that they invited us to. So no one can say that I don't know what I'm talking about. I was sitting at the table when the city council were like, where's everybody else? I'm like, I don't know. I'm here, right? Does that answer your question? It does not take an inordinately long amount of time to make decisions with regard to money. It takes an inordinate amount of time to make decisions when you don't want to do what ought to be done with the money. When you're trying to find ways to do other stuff, it takes a long time.
It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.